Hi, and welcome to a well-appointed desk new product release announcement. So today I would like to talk about 3 new products that we are putting into our shop this week, and thought I would walk through and give some details about each one so that you had an opportunity to see them in more detail and get an understanding of any of the sort of subtle nuances in each of these products. So we're going to start with the one we've been working on the absolute longest, and that is the letter writing stationery sampler kit. This came from a suggestion from a friend of mine who said he really loved writing letters and just wanted plain paper, but did I have any recommendations for the best paper that was readily available, that wasn't necessarily to mow a river or something that was very expensive, maybe something that could be found domestically in the United States. And this is what we came up with. So what we decided to do, because we did find several different papers that we thought might be appropriate for people to use, we worked with exclusively French paper, which is out of Michigan, and wanted to just give you an opportunity as a user to help us make final decisions about what papers we will release in the future. So what this does is create a small stationery kit, and I will show you here. This is the whole kit all wrapped up. It is paper and envelopes. Whoop, there you go. Paper and envelopes. All included in the kit, and on the back is details about the different papers that are included in the kit, as well as we're including guide sheets since these pages are blank. So I'm going to do a little, Julia Child here. Here's one out of the package, so we don't have to go through the whole ASMR thing. And this is the one I've been testing with, so some of the pages have already been pulled out, but there is divider pages at the front of each section, and that tells you what the paper is underneath. You receive 10 pages of each paper, and it'll tell you what paper we selected. And then the envelopes have our matching to go with. So the one with the yellow band will match the paper that is in the book, in the notepad, and behind the yellow. Like I said, this is the one I've been testing, so it's a little janky. But yeah, so these pages go together. So if you want to match your envelopes to your paper, you can do that. So 3 of the papers are very, very fountain pen friendly. The 4th paper was the one that we found that was the most white of the papers, and is great for pretty much every other tool. Fountain pens, it's okay. It's not as great as I'd hoped it would be. So I'm going to start with the first one. This is the French Craft Tone. It's 70-pound paper. It has a little bit of little threads and things like that because it is a recycled paper. So in my testing, I found that the fountain pen ink did squish just a little bit, but there was no splining. And if you look at the back of it, there's just a slight bit of show through, maybe a little bit of those like points at which maybe the pen had stopped. But if you're using it to write letters, I tend to just write on the front of my pages anyway, when I write a letter, so it shouldn't be a huge big deal. This paper has a little bit of texture. It's smooth, but it has just a tiny bit of tooth, little bit. Not a ton. Next up is the French Pop Tone, which is 70-pound. This is the white. I think it's all the Pop Tone colors have like candy and cake names, so it's probably like snow cone or ice cream or something like that. And this one has a similar texture to the Craft Tone in terms of the way the paper feels. But it's a little bit smoother, works great with fountain pens. I'm even getting some of the qualities of the sheening in the ink that was in the Pilot Parallel. So just really nice. I think this is a really nice paper. It is a little bit thicker, and because it has a little bit of tooth, your pen's not going to skate across it like it would with like a super smooth paper, like a Rhodia. So this is just, it has a little bit of tooth, but there was no show through. Nice sheet. The next up is the Duratone newsprint, the 50 pound. This one also has a few little threads in it because it is using recycled materials. But it is very, very smooth. It is a very smooth sheet. I would describe it as silky. There's a little bit of dry time issue that did not exist in the other two papers because these are a little toothier. There's a little bit more absorbency, so the ink will dry faster. This, because it's so smooth, there's clearly a coating on the paper, which keeps that ink standing up beautifully. But just beware, if you're a lefty like me, you can stick your arm in it if you're not careful. And the warmer the weather gets, the longer it takes ink to dry. So it's warm and humid here right now, so my ink is just not drying as fast as I'd like. This does have a bit more of the show through, but it is a 50 pound weight instead of the other two that I've shown were both 70 pounds. So there are these, you can tell by feel, are heavier. This one, little ASMR for you, is a very light sheet, more comparable to like what people would think of with some of the Tomoe River papers. So just to give you some range. And then the last paper is the French Duratone, and it almost has a, you can see like little spots. I don't even know what to call this. It just has an interesting texture, but it's really smooth like the newsprint. They're both very smooth. This one is a creamier color, more of an off-white. Very easy on the eyes. It's probably my favorite. Ink stands up really nicely. You get some shading and sheening. There's very little show through on the back, a little bit with the marker, but very little otherwise. And it has the same texture on both sides, more so than the newsprint, which feels smooth on the front, but a little toothier on the back. I don't know. Maybe I'm imagining things. But yes, so my preferences for these are the Duratone, the newsprint, the Pop Tone, and then the Craft Tone. But if you're using things like gel pens or pencils, this Craft Tone paper is going to be absolutely lovely. So those are the 4 papers that are in the stationery kit. There are matching envelopes in the notepad. There are 10 sheets of each paper. And then there are 5 envelopes for each paper. And this set will sell for $20. We're also including a postcard for you to mail in to tell us which of the papers you liked best, if you liked the way that we put this kit together, whatever feedback you'd like to give us. We'd really appreciate it. It will help us decide how to proceed with doing letter writing kits in the future. So that is the sampler kit. Oh, and I did mention it includes guide sheets. They are bright white, printed on heavy duty cardstock, and you've got lines and dots. The lines are 7 and 8 millimeter, and then 5 millimeter graph and dot grid. And those will come in the kit as well. So next up is our new Side Quests notepad. To be honest, this may have been in the works longer than the writing kit, but this is our latest notepad. We have changed paper stocks for our notepads. This one is themed around the fact that both my husband and I really enjoy playing video games, and we were in a tabletop gaming group for years with friends. So Bob desperately wanted us to do, can I have a side quest notepad? Yes, sir, you can. It just took me a really long time to design it. So we wanted to include lots of different little icons that people might recognize or inspired by different games, both computer games, console games, tabletop games, whatever you're into. And the ink printing is a bronze with a light gray for the lines. and I believe the line spacing is 6mm. The pads include 40 sheets and backer card. I have again, I'm going to Julia Child it, and here's the completed one. But this is my sample. I used a fine nib fountain pen. Works just fine. Used a little marker for my check boxes. And the only thing on the back is a little bit of my lunch. Isn't that nice? But anyway, yes, so those are our side quest notepads. These will be available on both our Etsy and Big Cartel shop. And then finally, the craziest of all of these things is our new prototype product, divider tabs for the coloring. So what we did was, using the same die that we use for the actual coloring cards, we cut cardstock cards that can be used to divide up sections in your coloring. This is a prototype. We used some paper we had around the shop to try this out and see how you like it, if people use it. Our feeling was, once it was completed, why didn't we do this sooner? Why didn't we think of this sooner? Because when you squeeze your little sandwich of coloring together, you have these lovely little dividers. So you know, here's where my Vinta inks are. Or here's where I'm keeping my shimmer inks. Oh, another one Vinta, because I didn't like the writing on the first one. Here's my diamine inks. So I used brush pens, I used some of my stamps, also available in the shop. I used just a bright white gel pen. You know you've got one in your stash, finally a use for it. Just different ways to label them. You could paint on them, you could use your fountain pens, whatever you want. But yeah, so the dividers right now are super limited edition. We just wanted to see how they go. There's 20 in a pack. These right now, because they're prototypes, we just bagged them real quick. They don't have any fancy packaging or any additional details. We'll be selling for $5 each for a set of 20. And we just want to see, like, please send me an email. Let me know what you think of them. If you like them, if you want a whole coloring full of colored paper, I don't know. Let me know what you like. We're really excited to get all these things in your hands. We can't wait to hear feedback. And we really hope you like our latest product releases. Thanks for watching the video.